I'm just glad it's sped up and shifted a little bit, and when we get up in the morning, we'll be.
I think you're right.
That's true.
I don't like it, but it's.
You're blessed if that's the case.
Bob, I'll be glad to.
Okay, all right. It's 7 o'clock, and I don't know whether we have a quorum, well, we do have a quorum, I don't know whether anybody else is coming or not.
This conference will now be recorded.
Well, it's 7 o'clock, and I will call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order, and ask Commissioner Gibson to have the invocation.
All right, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll bow your heads, please. Dear Father God, we thank you for the many blessings that you give us each and every day. We thank you for the people of this county, and we thank you for the people of the state, this country, and we just ask that we all work together to combat the coming storm and particularly the virus that's been plaguing us for the last 5 months. Father God, we know that we've got some bad weather coming on us, and we know the hard times that we've had in past years. We just ask that you keep folks safe. Let them be ever mindful of the dangers that lie ahead in the next 12 hours, and be with our first responders, our medical personnel, our law enforcement as they work hard to keep us all safe. We ask this in your name. Amen.
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 Bob, Mr. Chairman, can I ask one thing first, that to remind folks that they're not talking to mute their device, because we're getting a lot of background stuff going.
Okay, all right. Did everybody hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, then, if you will, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
to the republic that stands one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all.
All right, now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Sean Alston, so moved.
Carol McCall, second.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And now I will open the public forum, and I believe Mr. Greg Wood with the Scotland Health System is with us. Greg, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yeah.
Terrific. Well, again, thank you first for what you people do each and every day. Getting harder and harder educating for your jobs. And to thank you as well for the opportunity to give you an update from Scotland Health's perspective of how things are going, and from my perspective with the COVID crisis. So let me give you a couple updates of what's going on. We've actually had a bit of an unexpected weekend here. So starting at the state level, I think you see the same data I'm saying, that very slowly it seems like we're beginning to decline in infections and hospitalizations. I think the most important thing for all of us to be looking at, what's the hospitalization data? We continue to see about 7% positive, which is a little bit concerning. Percentage rates are not going down, but more and more data seems to indicate that people are not as sick as we once feared they would be. So from a capacity standpoint, from a community standpoint, from an illness standpoint, the key number is hospitalization. We've been up over 1,000 for almost a month and a half now, but the last 5 days it's gone down from 1,200 to 1,100 to just over 1,000. So very slowly, hospitalization data seems to be going down. But again, we had an unusual weekend. We had a spike in patients and staff members over the past 3 days. We were up to 14 patients yesterday. We're up to we have 13 patients today. That's more than we've had in-house in several weeks. We also ended up having several staff members get infected, as well as a couple of providers. We ran out of in-house rapid turnaround tests. So at this point, we have about 33 staff members quarantined. And we have about another 25 tests that we won't get back on staff members until tomorrow. So we've had some staffing and some testing concerns. So a lot of managers spent the weekend here trying to figure out both acute and long-term, what does that mean? So we've actually launched our incident command again, and we've put a few new rules in place. So what's going on right now is anyone going to a patient's room, not only will they be fully masked, but they will have eyewear, either protective glasses or the face shields, and that includes environmental services, that includes nutritional care folks, as well as obviously nurses and respiratory folks. What we're a little concerned about is what's going on in this community. You may hear from Kristen as well later that this community, Robson County, as well as Marlboro, are beginning to see a slight increase in those positive numbers. As most of you know, for some reason, Scotland County's been extremely fortunate. Our percentage rate's been in the 3 to 5% area. Robson County is still at 18%, but as far as the hospital goes, we're still seeing only about a third of patients who are admitted coming from Scotland County. The other 2/3 are coming from Marlboro County or Robinson County. And I think that leads to some confusion. Folks are asking why are our numbers different from the health department numbers, and that's really the issue. I think right now we expect to see anywhere from 3 to 15 patients for the next few weeks. There's still almost no agreement out there on what's going to happen this fall. What's the flu season going to look like? What's the next phase of the COVID crisis going to look like? Nobody really knows. We're just guessing that through mid-September, we'll see anywhere from 3 to 15 patients in-house and a very, very slow decline in positive rate. My ask again for you as well as the rest of the community is for you folks as commissioners and leaders of the community to use your bully pulpit. I know we got some folks out there that are anti-maskers, that don't believe masks work, and maybe they don't believe they need to wash their hands either. We got a lot of vulnerable patients in this community. I just got off a call with our pulmonologist who says the data says that 40% of the population are in that vulnerable risk category. So your friends, your neighbors, and the people that work here that are putting their lives on the line, putting their jobs on the line, need your support. We need the community to get behind masking, hand washing, as well as socially distancing. So the biggest thing we can do is socially distance. That's the important. You can do is mask and socially distance. I don't think those are big sacrifices. I don't think those are, we've learned to wear seatbelts. We finally believe that smoking causes cancer. And I think we need to believe that masking and social distance makes a difference. So let me pause there, Mr. Chairman, and I'll be glad to take any advice or insights from folks out there or questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Wood? If not, Greg, I would just like to thank you for what you and your staff do, and I'll echo what you said about people not wearing their masks, not following directions, and you could be about the only store I go into these days is a drugstore, and they've got them marked out arrows one way, and you'll get run over going the wrong way if you're not careful, and people not wearing masks and that kind of thing. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that about half the people don't believe in masks, I think, or say they can't wear them or whatever, but yeah, I think it certainly helps, and that's one reason I think Scotland County has been at the level we've been with a low level, if you will, of cases. And I just would encourage all of our people to wear their masks and social distance and wash their hands.
But one of the things, Bob, I'm encouraging our folks to do is to, realize that we're all in this together and go ahead and tell people. One way to easily do it is very loudly compliment people that are wearing their masks the right way.
Right.
Some of us have a little more courage than others to we're not wearing their masks. Tell them, where's your mask? We need to start challenging each other. We're going to get through it.
I I went in the store the other day and, later on, and she didn't have a mask. And I asked her, I said, do you have a mask? And she said, well, no. I said, wait a minute, I go get you one. So I went out to the vehicle and brought her a mask. And she said, do you have any? And I said, well, yeah, I've got one on and I've got another one. So, but anyway, when I went back in the next day or two, she had the mask on. So maybe it will make a difference. Anyone else? If not, Greg, thank you again for what you do and your staff.
Thank you. Thank you. We're in this together, that's for sure.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, Miss Brenda Tyson, are you there, Brenda?
Yes, can you hear us, sir? Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Brenda Tyson. I'm a Stockton County citizen as well as an employee of the Stockton County Health Department. I come to you tonight on behalf of myself and several health department employees. The COVID-19 pandemic has truly been an unprecedented event for everyone. During this pandemic, many have lost their jobs and many have been asked to work remotely from home due to Governor Cooper's stay-at-home order. However, health department employees were designated as essential workers and asked to come to the work as usual during this pandemic. These employees and their families were put at a higher risk of exposure to COVID-19 due to this designation. We are aware that the county has received federal funding for COVID-19 related expenses, which include the ability to receive hazard pay for essential workers. Several surrounding counties have designated part of these funds to their essential employees as a monetary incentive for their service. Does Stockton County plan to designate any funds as a monetary incentive for health department employees during this pandemic?
I would have to defer that question to our county manager. He has control of those funds and knows the strings that are tied to them. I'm sure if there's a way to help anyone with it, he certainly will do it, and we will encourage him to do all he can in that direction. Anyone else have any comments? Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Tyson, for your input and for your devotion to Stockton County through the health department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Now, Kevin, you're gonna kind of have to help me through this. I don't believe that, item number 2 is Ms. Martha Roby, she's not coming tonight, is that right?
Correct. The next item for now will be the planning and zoning, the public hearing for application 489-2.
Okay. That's the 489-20, is that one you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is Mr. Cribb here?
He is not. He was not able to get online, but I think a copy of the minutes were submitted to the board. The planning and zoning board did meet on the 15th, and they recommended approval of the rezoning and conditional use.
Okay. And that's only for that one, and we won't have the public hearing on the next zoning ordinance, is that right?
Correct. The other item on there for the 10th amendment will be tabled until the September meeting.
Okay. All right. then, I'll open the public hearing then on the, application number 489-20. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of it?
Chairman Davis, this is Bill Floyd. I'm here with my dad, William Floyd, and with Frank McGee, who is the Vice President, Senior Executive Vice President of the Griffin Group, who are tenants at the Lumber Maxon Air Base. This application request is for two parts. The first is to rezone 160 acres adjacent to the existing Griffin Group use from RA to I-2 to allow additional military training on that 160 acres. Again, this is adjacent to the part where they're already doing their work. And so I guess the hearing that we're going to have now, and I can ask Mr. Johnston, do we want to have the legislative part of this hearing now yet, or are we going to do this together and be sworn?
Well, I would suggest that you just go ahead and be sworn, because I'm not sure we have any other people who are going to participate, and maybe we can cover it all at one time.
Okay, I've got a Bible, and I'm going to ask my dad if he would place his left hand on the Bible.
Jason, do you want to administer the oath?
I can indeed. Mr. Floyd, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
Do you all swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Frank?
I do.
I do.
Okay. I think you all are duly sworn.
Okay, getting back to where we were talking about, this is a pretty exciting opportunity, I think, for the Griffin Group. One of a good story in our community that they are able to look at expansion now. They've been in our community for a number of years. 10 years, they've had a really spotless record of good service to our community, providing troops really outstanding training that allows them to come home to their families. We're real proud of that facility out there, and I think that the community should be very proud that these folks are out there training these troops. The purpose of this rezoning is that it is RA right now, and for there to be a military use on that property, it would have to be rezoned to I-2. Again, this is the exact zoning that is applicable to the adjacent properties. This property is uniquely suited for this particular use. It's buffered on all sides. It is buffered by the Lumber River and the swamp surrounding the Lumber River. It is buffered by a forest of trees on the west side. On the north side, it's bounded by the other property of the Griffin Group, and on the south, there's a solar farm that extends well over a half a mile before there's any occupied businesses, or actually occupied dwellings. There is no residential over there. There's a church, but it's more than a half a mile away. And so this rezoning for the I-2, I think, would be appropriate for this use, for this property. And we would ask that that be approved. And I've got, if you have questions, I have with me my dad, and I have with me Mr. McBee, who can answer any questions that you might have about the rezoning issue.
Are there any questions for Mr. Floyd?
Yeah, Bill, this is Tim. I'm just trying to get in my mind where the spot is. So if I'm facing the current building now, is it behind me? Or is it?
You really can't see it from anywhere you're going to be able to drive. Yeah, there's the map. Okay, can you see what I'm showing you right there?
Yeah, I can see it.
See where the 2 is?
Yeah.
Okay, the 2 is the property that we're talking about. From the bottom of that, from the top of that solar, from the north side of the solar farm, all the way to the top of that blue line right there, and all the way to the river, essentially, to that left line. That's about 160 acres right there. Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to get in my head where exactly it was, but I got it. Once I see that picture
Okay.
there.
That gives a good indication of the buffering between it. You can see on either side, there's really nothing. And that solar farm is between the church, which again is about a half a mile from where it would be. You can see it.
Now, I have a question, Mr. Floyd. The Floyd family owns this property and you are rezoning it for the purpose of leasing it to Griffin Group, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is John Alford. I have one question. How many acres are we rezoning to I-2?
160, approximately. The survey has not been completed yet, but it's approximately 160 acres.
Okay, and will the entire 160 acres be used for training, or we just rezoning it all to I-2?
Well, the nature of the training that they do, Mr. Alford, is that they use a lot of wide open spaces for various tactical measures they will do. They will set up scenes of villages. They will have open areas. They will use that road possibly to drive on to stimulate terrorist attacks or a convoy. So all of the property will be used. That won't all be improved to the extent there won't be buildings or anything on it, but it will all be utilized for that purpose.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Bill, is this just a continuation and expansion of what's being done on the existing property that's already up?
That is absolutely correct. There's no change in use. It's you can see back there where the arrow is there. That's part of their main area that they do training on. Part of that's owned by the air base. Part of that's owned by my dad's company. Yeah, there's not an additional new use. One of the benefits of this is the change from the I-2 or from the RA to I-2 is going to be about a fourfold increase in the taxable value of that property too. It'll go from less than $1,000 an acre to over $4,000 an acre taxable.
There have been no safety violations out there, is that correct?
I can ask Mr. to provide testimony to that.
No, sir, we haven't had any safety issues out there. That's one of the great things for me, actually personally working for Griffin Group, is the ability to work with professionals who are very well trained, very well vetted to conduct this type of training. And the safety measures that we have in place are one of the things that keep our clients coming to us.
And no environmental issues or anything that would affect or endanger public health or safety, is that correct?
That is correct. In fact, we have, through our ISO certification, the measures in place to guard the environment against problems like that. We run what's called a green range facility, where what's being conducted out there is actually works in conjunction with the environment, not counter to the environment. And that's really a protocol that most federal facilities and traditional military facilities are moving to now. We just happen to be a little bit ahead of the curve. We can move a little bit faster than larger organizations like that.
Another question for Mr. Floyd, and I'm kind of walking through the requirements in the ordinance. The current use is not, and you're familiar with the property values, I'm sure. It hadn't injured the value of adjoining or remaining property.
Not at all. No, it's actually enhanced it.
And you don't anticipate that it's going to affect, this additional use will affect them in a negative way either, do you?
That's correct.
Is it your, and I think you submitted a lot of this to the planning and zoning board. This is in accord with what you presented there, but this would be in harmony with the current uses out there of the land. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I just wanted to touch those, the commissioners could sort of incorporate those into if they pass this request.
And we would also testify that it would provide, that it has adequate utilities, it has adequate access roads, drainage and other utilities as required, that adequate egress and ingress. There's really not going to be any traffic other than what's going to come down probably from the north side. And all other conditions and regulations of the I-2 have been complied with.
Bill, this is Whit Gibson. I think you just may have answered this, but it looks like most of the access has got to come from the current property owned by Griffin. Is that correct?
That's correct. They'll come down from the north side. There's a gate down, and all this is gated too. So nobody can go where the solar farm is probably the southeast corner of that solar farm. As you see down that road, there's a gate, there's two gates actually. So it's double gated. They have, security there 24/7. So nobody can get in on that road. And if they come up and down that road, they'll usually come from that north side.
When you say they have security, you're talking about Griffin.
Correct, yeah. And most of those guys, they hire, of course, are law enforcement officers from the county and from the city.
Right.
I know you probably have this, Mr. Floyd, and if you could get it to me to sort of incorporate with the, if there's an approval, the information that supports, what you just testified to, just a brief written summary so I can put it with the resolution.
Okay, I'll do that.
I think you had it in the planning and zoning board meeting too.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
Not for me.
Okay. Then I will ask, is there anyone here that opposes this ordinance or this hearing? Hearing none, then I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion from the commissioners to either approve or disapprove.
Mr. Chairman, this is John Alford. I move approval.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if the motion could include a finding that the requirements of the zoning ordinance have been complied with, and the information that Mr. Floyd is going to submit in writing would be in conformity with what the requirements are there.
Okay, is that, John, you hear that?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay. And Whit, you second,
I was gonna second, but I think somebody beat me to it.
I did it, but I'm fine with it, yeah.
okay. Oh, I didn't hear you, Tim. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion's approved. Mr. Floyd, thank you. And, if you
Thank
feel-
you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the whole committee for your consideration for tonight. And we will leave the meeting if that's okay.
That's fine, and just be sure and get Mr. Johnson what he needs, if you would, please.
Certainly will. Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank
Thank you.
There are a couple of additional items for zoning. There is going to be a text change that will be introduced, or that we're working on, but that will not be submitted for this month. That will be, we will schedule a public hearing on September 8th, the next regular meeting for the commissioners. But with that, there is a request that the board authorize the initiation of a text amendment to actually regulate tactical training facilities and combat training facilities in our zoning ordinance, as well as amending the section on buffers.
Okay, I think we all got a message on that, and has everybody had an opportunity to read it?
Yes.
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 Okay. Then we need a motion to authorize this or initiate this amendment. Do I have a motion to the text change?
Bob, this is Whit. If we authorize the initiation, then there still is a public hearing in regard to this. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's right. Isn't that right, Kevin?
Yes, sir. All this does is allow starts the process. It does not mean the board is actually going to approve anything, and it does not require the board to take further action.
But we do have to act on this.
It is requested that you act on it. Yes.
Do we have, let me ask you this, Kevin, do we have to act on it tonight, or can we do it, at the, next meeting, if we're gonna recess from this to the next meeting?
We'd rather go ahead and have this done tonight. And again, this is just authorizing staff to, continue the work they've already been doing.
Okay. Everyone got that?
I do.
We still need a motion and a second, so.
I'll make a motion to,
move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, start the initiation of the text change for this amendment. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay, Kevin, you can go ahead then, Kevin.
Okay. Also, in your packet, there are some draft rules and procedures for a public hearing. I'll resend those out, but I just wanted to submit those to the board tonight, because we will have a public hearing at the September meeting, and it is expected to be contentious. So we wanted to go ahead and establish meetings. They are fairly in compliance with what we do with our public forums. But this would just allow a structure, as we've never really needed a formal policy in the past. This is just introducing the rules and procedures. And we would ask the board to approve them Wednesday.
Okay, so we won't do anything tonight, but do it Wednesday when we meet, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And then the only other thing we need to deal with tonight is the change of the meeting place for September, is that correct? Or can we do that Wednesday? Can we do that Wednesday as well?
Actually, we're asked that you go ahead and do it so we can go ahead and make sure we have our advertisements prepared. Because we're going to be redoing the parking lot at the EOC, it will just be a whole lot easier if we schedule the September 8th meeting at Scotland Place, especially if we're able to allow public in at the public hearing.
Okay. All right, then I need a motion to change the meeting place of September 8th to Scotland Place at the regular time, 7 p.m., is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay.
And the next thing is, we worked in, of course, the agenda is set out in the packet was longer, but due to the expected weather, even though we hadn't had this virtually, we're looking to recess the rest of the meeting to Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. at the Morgan Center. Part of that meeting will also be to take a tour of Johnson, or I.L.F. Johnson Elementary School, because it and South will be offered to the county as they are no longer in use.
Okay. All right, Wednesday, of what day, Kevin? The 12th?
The 5th, this coming Wednesday
Okay.
at 9 a.m.
Kevin,
Yes,
will the tour take place first or after the meeting?
we've not established the time yet as far as what order you wanted to go. We can actually arrange that in any direction. If y'all want to take a tour first, we can do that easily, or if you want to do that towards the end.
Okay.
Betty, do you have a preference?
Well, not really. I would probably prefer it at the end, but you know, whatever the board wants to do is okay with me.
I have a question then. Will we could decide Wednesday the intention of the board as far as this property. So if we're gonna have a discussion about our intentions, I think we need to see the property first.
I concur with Carol on that. I was gonna say, we probably, before we discuss it, we should probably see it.
Makes a lot of sense. This is John Owens. Yeah. It's kind of hard to discuss a facility and you haven't seen it.
But I've seen it, but it's been a number of years back.
Yeah, you know, I'm familiar with it, but I haven't been in all the buildings. I've been there.
Why don't we meet at Johnson at 9 o'clock and come back to Morgan Center after that?
That sounds good.
That works.
Miss Betty, what about you?
That's fine with me.
Well,
That's
so,
fine with me.
Kevin, you can get that arranged with somebody to meet us there to open up, right?
Yes. So we'll recess this to Johnson, have the tour and probably recess again, and then move it back to the Morgan Center for discussion. And the rest of the meeting?
Okay, well, let me ask this question. Do you see any need to, go out to John Station, so to speak, and look at, Johnson's food?
South Scotland.
I mean, South Scotland, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Personally, I think there'd be less interest in South.
Right.
I concur.
But do we want to go look at it or not? I guess it's a question.
I don't
I have a
see a need.
question. This is John Alford. I was told one time that the school was gonna hold on to that one. That's no longer the issue. They're not gonna hold on to it.
I don't know. I understood they're gonna offer both of them to the county. Is that not right, people?
That's what I was advised, yes.
Okay then. All right, I'm good.
Well, I guess we can make that decision when we get to Johnson then. But everybody's all right with meeting at, IEJ at 9 o'clock.
That's on this Wednesday.
Yep, August the 5th.
All right, okay, that's good for me.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's fine with me.
Okay, Betty,
It's fine with me.
with Tim,
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, that's fine with me too. This is weird.
okay, all right. Then, I guess what we'll do now then is recess. Until
I have a quick question.
Okay,
And did we approve the consent agenda?
Yes.
I thought we did.
Okay,
We
I
did.
just, I was
We
reading
did.
back over, and I
We
couldn't
did.
remember.
We
Okay,
did.
all right,
It's a motion by Commissioner Ivey and a second by Commissioner Hall.
okay, very good, all right.
Mr. Chairman, and I'm not trying to prolong the meeting, but one of the items was to elect our delegate to the conference, and I know the conference starts on Wednesday. Is that something we need to do tonight? I have no interest in being that person, but
Well, the conference is next week.
okay.
Thought you volunteered last year.
No, I think I got volunteered last year.
You might have just got volunteered again.
I think we should share that honor.
Do you want to do it, Bob? I don't think I can.
No, I cannot.
Em, are you interested? Have you paid attention to it?
You know, yeah, but if it's next week, I'm full.
Well, let's everybody decide, and we'll do it on Wednesday.
Okay,
All right.
I think the business meeting is on Thursday.
It's coming Thursday.
I think it's this Thursday, 11 o'clock, I think.
That's what I was thinking. There was something this Wednesday, starting this week.
It starts this week, because it's over. It's Wednesday, Thursday this week, and Friday, Saturday next week, I believe.
But we only have to have a rep there for that business meeting, right?
I think
That
so.
date don't sound right, Jason.
Let's see, hang on.
I think it's the 13th through the 15th.
It starts this week, I think, Carol.
Really? They must have
Yeah.
changed it then at some point. Okay.
No, let Jason look it up.
Yeah, let me, I got an email from them, because I'd already registered. Last week, let's see, let me find it. Boy, there have been a lot of emails today.
There have been. I'm trying to hear. It says Friday. I'm reading the annual conference email. Click here to register. August 5th and 6th, and then the 14th and the 15th. So,
Yep, so the 5th and 6th is Wednesday and Thursday, all right?
Right.
And then the 14th and 15th is Friday and Saturday next week, right? And I can't remember the times. I think Wednesday is like 3 to 5, Thursday is 9 to 12 maybe.
I don't have any of that in front of me.
I've got it somewhere.
I'm looking as hard as I can too. All right, here's the business session. I found it. It's Thursday, August 6th at 11 a.m. Okay, I have found it. I can attend that business session virtually and be the voting delegate.
I would make that motion.
I second.
Who seconded it?
Bob Davis.
Okay.
That was awfully quick with it.
Sounded like she volunteered there and just made it official.
Yeah, I could not do it next week, but I can do it this Thursday.
They can also ask for an alternate too.
Can I make Tim Ivy that one?
Uh,
Tim, you said you couldn't do it next week, right?
But you're talking about for this week, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, well, it's 11 o'clock Thursday, Jason, is that it?
Yeah, 11 o'clock on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be free with it. Yeah, that's fine.
Motion for, Carol as the primary and Tim as the alternate.
Second?
Second.
All right, I got you.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, Kevin, is that it then for tonight?
That is it, sir.
Okay, then if no one has anything else, then we will recess to August the 5th at 9 a.m. at I.L.F. Johnson and take a tour.
Do you need a motion? You need a motion to that effect?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
I second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Right.
Like sign. All right, we stand recessed.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe.
And
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Aye.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Tim, for volunteering.
How do you leave? There you go.
This conference is no longer being recorded.